And we are good to go. Hi, Sam, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
So the last time I saw you, that must have been October, November time for the level 2 BTF course. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's the exam day because you were off. Was it the Gold Coast?
Yes.
Yeah. So how was that?
It was good. Training was really good out there. It was great to get involved in all the open water stuff that they do because obviously they're born right next to the sea, so they can utilize all of those facilities. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Didn't get a tan though.
Oh.
I was going to say.
Did you have training?
No, you must have got lines on your legs. You must have got a cycle tan.
If you got a magnifying glass, I was telling everyone you can see them, but no one believed me.
No one can see it. No.
What's it like? It's going to sound like a really random question, but what's it like swimming in the water over there and knowing that there could be kind of sharks and other stuff to kill you? Because I think that would put me off getting in the water.
Yeah. To be honest, I stayed clear of shark films like Jaws before I went out, just in case. But I think what keeps you busy is if you've got a task at hand. So most of the time we were in there in a squad of like the British Triathlon squad went over. So there were 10, 15 people all in the water at the same time. And when we were in the water, we had a session to do. So that kind of kept my mind busy. We had a fantastic coach out there who was born and raised in those waters. So he kept us really safe. A guy called Phil. And yeah, just have him around made you feel like if he thought it was safe, then we all felt safe.
Yeah.
And focus on the session.
And obviously, as long as you're not up front or right at the back, you're probably okay. So mid-pack swim.
Yeah.
Nice, cool. So that leads into, I guess, well, because I've never spoken to you, Sam. So it'd be interesting for me to know how you first got into triathlon.
Okay. Well, I was actually quite a late starter. I always swam from a really early age, and then I always did running and got stuck into all my races. I'm lucky enough to have an older brother called Tom, and we both competed together at everything. And triathlon actually came around. Tom was the one who wanted to do it first, and obviously anything he did, I did as well. We would have been I was 13, maybe 14. I was 14 and Tom was 15, 16, my brother. And yeah, we got some road bikes and started smashing laps of near where our house was. And then all of a sudden, we just decided to do a race. I think in 2015, it started, and then just ever since then, never looked back.
Does your brother still race? Does your brother race?
He does. He doesn't. He races age group.
Right.
So he went to age group world champs on the Gold Coast in 2018.
Yeah.
And I was there for the elite race, which was really pretty special to have your family around you.
Yeah.
So far away from home.
Nice.
Obviously naturally talented.
Yeah.
So was it 2015 you got into it, and was that the year you won the junior championship? Was that?
So 2014 I did my first races, and then the next year 2015 I think it was the junior national championship race which I won, which was the real first stepping stone to actually you can do this.
Yeah.
And then the year after that it was European medal. I got beaten on the sprint finish, but and then ever since then it's just been a taste at world championship level, and then accumulating with last year my first World Cup win at the senior level, and this year it hopefully would have been World Series, but I think God had other plans, so we'll just wait for that one.
Cool.
It's always next year.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And you've obviously just been selected as an Olympic podium potential athlete. So what does that feel like to kind of be given that
Yeah, you put up there now.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's the level of so British Triathlon have got a pathway, and they've put me on the podium potential level of that pathway. The next step up is the podium squad, and they're the people who are tipped to medal at the Olympics. So again, it's all stepping stones at the moment, and yeah, really honoured to be put at the bottom step for now, but at least to be on that pathway.
But there's some big names on that step with you though, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there are. Of course, a medal at the Olympics. There are only 6 of them every year. Well, male and female, and then also you've got the relay coming in now, so that increases medal chances. But an Olympic medal is so special. There aren't many people who can say they've achieved it, let alone shot to achieve it. So yeah, there are certainly a lot of us ready to take that next step.
Definitely.
And so is that aiming for, obviously it wouldn't have been Tokyo.
Well, it'll be Tokyo next year.
Yeah, Tokyo. Would it be for Tokyo next year or the Olympics after that?
It depends whenever I make the step, really. It's purely physiologically driven. The fact, if you're good enough, they'll give you the chance to go and try and compete for one of those medals. So hopefully, best case scenario, I come out of lockdown and get stuck into racing at the start of next year, and they select me and I go to Tokyo. But if that doesn't happen, then we get back to the grind and aim for Paris 2024.
It's amazing. So it kind of leads quite nicely into the next question we had from members. So how has lockdown changed your training, and how has it affected kind of the end Olympic goal?
So lockdown, the biggest change obviously has been the lack of swimming. We weren't allowed to go into pools, and until recently open water was off limits for us. So it actually, you've just got to accept that, and you can't do one thing, but you can maximize the other two. So I think it's put a real run bike focus to the training, and that's not been a bad thing. Looking at the way male elite triathlon's going, you need to be running fast off the bike, and you can't be a slouch on the bike as well, because you've got these Norwegians who really push the pace, and you've got some strong cyclists in there too. So of course the swimming's taken a bit of a hit, but it's also allowed you to positively maximize your second 2 disciplines. So that's the biggest change.
And more strength work? Like, have you been finding more time for other peripheral things?
Yeah, so I've added an extra gym session in the week. I usually gym Mondays and Fridays, but now I've put one on Wednesdays as well, just to, it's just to focus on all the little things as well. There's been more core, more band work, more pull-ups involved, just to keep the upper body conditioning, so that when we do get back swimming, we can return to fitness faster. So yeah, there has been more gym. Yeah,
because we got some swim bands, and they are nasty. They're hard work.
Yeah,
so.
Wasn't expecting it to be quite as horrible as they happen, but yeah.
Right, 3 things that you've learned from racing at an elite level.
Ooh,
that's a good one, isn't it?
What about that? Yeah, that's a great question. I think the most important one is racing, knowing when to race intelligently, because our races at the top level are, I can't speak about World Series, however, but certainly the level that I've reached is very physiologically taxing, but a lot of the people you race are at the same physical level as you are. Yep. So there's not 50, 100 meter spreads by the time you get to the first buoy. So if you think our 60 guys, over 75% of them have probably got a 300 meter PB of within 10, 15 seconds of each other. Yeah. And there's not enough space around the buoys to fit them all in. So it's tactically knowing when to spend your pennies and when to save them. Yeah. The bike as well. You need to race intelligently. know when to put the pressure on, know when to ease off, know when to get to the front of the pack when a technical section's coming up, because you can't trust a lot of people's bike handling skills.
Well, I mean, we've watched leads, and it's frightening. Being that close, so actually being stuck in the middle of that must be pretty scary.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've heard of the state of flow that a lot of athletes can talk about sometimes. It's when you're so focused on achieving your goal, and whatever that goal may be. I'm talking real small, short-term goals when you're on the bike course. For example, I know there's a hairpin coming up, so I know I need to be top 5 going into that hairpin. Otherwise, you'll be 30 meters off the back on the exit of the hairpin, and everyone's drilling it single file. So you really need to be thinking ahead of the game while you're racing. And obviously that's really hard when your heart rate's 180, 190 beats.
Definitely. So that's one, Sam. You've got 2 more.
Brilliant.
2 more. It was a good try.
I think it's knowing how to train. And again, I'm struggling with an injury at the moment. And I've really been riddled with injuries for the last 4 years. And it's just developing my knowledge of what I can do and what I can't do. Yeah. Triathlon, one size doesn't fit all. And a lot of people will know this, that what works for someone else might not work for you. So you've really got to find out what works for you, and don't get worried about looking at what mammoth sessions other people are putting on social media and so-and-so did this session today and so has ridden that far this week. What matters is what works for you and your training. And if you really individualize your training, you'll find results yourself. Yeah. So I think that's number 2. And number 3 is learning, especially for me as a developmental athlete. When I step up, I want to know what Johnny Brownlee, what Tom Bishop, what Vincent Louis does before the race, and just being around people like that and picking up little things and asking questions. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that I've taken from racing at the top level, from aspiring to race there from a 12, 13-year-old kid to actually then getting there and thinking, how much can I pick up from all these more knowledgeable people?
Yeah.
Good question.
Good answers as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that last little point kind of leads in quite nicely. So what is it like to train and race for Team GB?
Yeah, all right, because there's some big stars in the team at the moment. I mean, we don't want to keep name dropping the Brownies, but when you're around these kinds of people, and Vicky Hollands and the rest of the girls, there's so much talent. Yeah. What's it like being around that?
It's incredible, to be honest. We're so lucky as Great Britain to have that sense of pride that if you do race for Great Britain, there's an automatic feeling that you are the best anyway, because Great Britain brings such an aura, that it's had so much historical success, that you feel honoured when you put on. There's such a different feeling when I put on the Union flag suit, and it really raises your game, because you've got people like, you say, Vicky Holland and your Jess Learmonts, Georgia Taylor Browns, who have dominated the past few years of elite female triathlon, and to feel like you're a part of that is really something special. The phrase "success breeds success," and I think that's been a big key for Great Britain's triathlon and Great Britain's sport in general. Looking at what the cyclists did in Beijing and London, and what the swimmers are hopefully going to do with the likes of Adam Peaty. And there's that vicarious experience that if they can do it, why can't I?
Definitely. Yeah. Stuff that a lot of us only dream of.
Yeah, that's it.
Drop me to the next one, so you can take the random last one.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Okay, so what has been your most memorable race and your least memorable race?
Oof. I think my most memorable race is, to be brutally honest, still the one I think about sometimes before I go to bed every night. It's losing the World Championship in 2018 in the final few kilometers. That was something which really stung. Just, I mean, I hate losing more than I enjoy winning, and that's why it hurts so much. But I think that's also what I've used to drive future training, and I think it will be that'll definitely be the seed for future success, I'm sure, and I'm positive about that. But that's certainly hands down been my most memorable race. And my least memorable race, not very memorable then. My least memorable race was, it was actually when I was a youngster. I remember this. I'd just been given my first GB vest, so it's the first time I've been given the vest. I came second at National Triathlon Championships, and they said, "Well done, Sam. You're off to Spain to go racing the European Triathlon Championships." And this was next level stuff. I never dreamed of doing anything like that. It was the first real step, and I trained really hard, and I'd given myself Achilles or plantar fasciitis. But I was so driven to go and race that I went and raced anyway, and really shouldn't have raced. Should have listened to my body. But when you're young, you're naive. And on the first 5K, I really felt my plantar fascia ping, and I had to stop. I was on the ground. It was really not very. It was not very nice. And it was the first sort of real proper DNF from something I'd never dreamed about DNFing in anything, and having to not finish and actually watch one of my mates actually medal in the race. And it was nice to share in his success, but it was a really nasty feeling to know that you couldn't take part in it because of just unlucky injuries. And I think that's also stuck with me as well, but I don't tend to like to remember that one.
So you've had like your most memorable, least memorable have both been kind of, in your eyes, failures, like a DNF and a losing a championship. So is that kind of how you motivate yourself to keep striving to get better and keep going?
I think so. Obviously you've got to enjoy the success, and when the success comes, you've got to allow yourself to enjoy it. But until you've reached the top level and until you've achieved, there's always another step. And I think that's always been my mindset. Has just been, nothing is impossible. The question is, how hard do I have to work to achieve it?
Yeah.
So I always think that's been a major driving force, because if you rest on your laurels and you settle and you think you're good enough, well, you're going to be out the back door in this sport. We're moving on so fast, and the run times are so quick now. I really think you've got to keep ahead of the game and keep finding something to drive you to make yourself better every day.
Yeah. So what's that point? Is it gold in the Olympics? Is that the kind of top step?
Well, obviously Olympic gold would be incredible, and it's something that a lot of people dream about, and certainly I do.
Would you enjoy that? Would we be able to say, Sam, what's the most memorable? And go, you know what, winning gold in Olympics, that's it, that's done.
Yeah, it might just, I don't know. That loss in 2018 was pretty big.
Yeah, definitely. When's the next one? 2022?
What's that, sorry?
When can you avenge that?
So World Championship, so that happens every year. But this is my last year as an under 23.
Okay.
So I don't think I'll ever get that one back. But no one remembers under 23 World Champs. It's senior World Champions.
Senior. So that's it. That's it. Yeah, win that one and we're good. Yeah. Right. The highlight of the interview so far. So, would you like to be attacked by 1 duck-sized horse or 10 No, 10 horse-sized ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're thinking 1 horse-sized duck or 10 duck-sized horses, aren't we?
Yeah. If you had to choose one to be attacked by or chased by, what would it be?
So we're going for the one big duck in the water, or 10 duck-sized horses chasing you on the bike.
Okay.
Hold on, yeah.
I would definitely go for running away from 10 duck-sized horses.
Yeah.
I've always had an internal fear of a horse-sized duck on the water.
Yeah, I mean, forget about sharks. It's horse-sized ducks is what you've got to worry about. They are vicious in the water. So. Wicked. Well, I've got no more questions.
No, I think that was it for me. That was it. Members.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we don't speak to you beforehand, good luck for everything in the future. I'm sure you'll.
We'll speak to you again.
Smash your goals.
Definitely.
And we'll definitely see you at the Olympics, if not next year, in 4 years. Definitely.
Yeah, get us a ticket. We'll come and watch. Definitely.
Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. All the best for the channel in the future as well.
Yeah, cheers, dude. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.